Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so today I want to talk about how breaking every single codependent structure that you are attaching yourself to in your life is going to absolutely transform your existence. It is going to open up all the miracles possible in the universe. As I lay under the stars the other night and I looked up into this vast cosmos, there was no separation between me and the universe. I realized that in that dark void, I was held just like each and every one of those stars. They weren't falling down from the sky, right? They're just there. They are held. They are shining. And that is what we are here to be and to do, is to walk our unique path, shine our unique light, be all of who we are, and know that we are actually worthy of that, deserving of that, and safe to have that expression. Where we are generally is in codependency. Now, we often think of codependency as a relationship thing, right? I am codependent on my partner, we're in a codependent relationship, and for that reason, it's not a healthy relationship. You know, many people stay in codependent relationships for a really long time, and I have my own theory about that, right? It's comfortable. You meet each other at a certain place in your spirituality, in your self-development, in your growth. And, you know, we're not all coming out of the womb healed, whole, and perfect. Many of us have difficult childhoods, difficult upbringings, things that happen in our life, right, that put us into a place of victim consciousness, that get us listening to all of the little I's and making decisions from those voices. And so we end up in these codependent relationships where that relationship gives us something. Usually it's giving us safety, security, validation. But something I explored after I ended my relationship ended, whichever way you want to look at it, I knew coming out of my relationship that it had been very codependent, that I met my ex-husband at a time where I didn't have much belief in myself. I was experiencing deep trauma. I hadn't gone any way into healing. I'd been raped. I had stuff going on in my childhood. He was safe. You know, he was secure. He wasn't like the other blokes that had messed me around and, you know, treated me badly. He was a good bloke. And I loved that good bloke. I still love that good guy, you know, that security, that safety. But as I began to grow into my own power, as I began to grow into my authenticity, as I began to grow into my authentic expression and took away the conditions that I placed on that expression, I started to feel very uncomfortable in my relationship because he mirrored that discomfort. He felt it hard to coexist in a dynamic where he didn't need to fix anything anymore. He didn't need to keep me safe anymore, which made him feel unsafe, right? So both sides of codependent relationships, when we come to humans, come from our insecurities, our feelings of unsafety, the stuff that we don't believe about ourselves. But you can look outside of your relationship with a human and say that I actually have codependent relationships everywhere, codependent structures that are limiting my possibilities in life. Now, where some part of them wants more money, more security, more friends, more social opportunities, more luck, right? Whatever your version of more is, you're seeking something. We're all seeking something. More plants in the garden, you know, more pictures in the house, more jewelry. We have these codependent relationships that make that possible or impossible for ourselves. So I'm going to talk about business because you have so many codependent relationship. You have blah, blah, blah. You have so much codependency in your business, right? Because you are attaching yourself, certain outcomes in your business, to whether you're safe or secure, to whether you are doing well, to whether you are significant, to whether you are safe, right? I can look at this frame of reality right now. I have a roof above my head. I have a ground beneath my floor. I have, albeit not drinking water yet, but I have water coming through my taps. I am saying to myself, without these things, I wouldn't be safe and secure, which takes away my creative power and puts me into a place of victim consciousness. And we can only ever manifest the matching frequency to victim consciousness, which brings up these emotions of fear, these feelings of lack, feelings of anxiety, so we have these codependent structures. And I started to explore that. I was like, right, okay, I never want to be in a codependent relationship ever again. I never want to be with somebody because I need something from them to validate myself, to feel safe, to feel love. I shared a reel this morning that said, have you never noticed how it's only your mind that wanders? Your heart knows. It's because your heart is here right now and it appreciates everything that is. It has this unconditional, unbound, unwavering knowing of truth. But your mind fucking wanders off all over the place, especially forwards and especially back, right? It wanders to all those times where you didn't have the roof over your head, or you didn't have the heating, or you didn't have the thing that you depend in a codependent relationship, right? Maybe it's not codependent because it's a roof and a floor and but you're depending on stuff outside of yourself for you to be a certain way. But the truth is, you are what you believe you are. Everything comes from that belief in the moment. We are manifesting all of the time, and you are manifesting right now. So where is your energy right now? Are you looking at your frame of reality and feeling abundant, feeling grateful, feeling appreciative, feeling love? Or is your mind wandering to all the ways in which it's lacking something, or it's not good enough, or you're not good enough? The heart knows. And it's the heart we have to connect to. But again, we come to this connection, and I'm talking about this on day 4 of the Rise Challenge, where I'm going into the depths of ritual magic and the power of connecting in multiple times a day, so that you are hearing your heart, so you are feeling your heart, so you are looking out at your external reality without all these fucking glasses that you put on that show you weird stuff that's not there. That's your projection of what you believe is true, or you believe might be possible. But where your beliefs create from is the known, and where possibility, infinite possibility, limitless possibility resides is in the unknown. And that I didn't know that infinite possibility, which means we have to break these codependent structures. And I hear this, and it's one of the things I'm really excited about giving up as I've let go of coaching is, well, I'll do this if, I'll get that when, I'll feel differently if this situation changes. The power is to feel differently now, because that is where you are manifesting from. Now I want to talk, and again, I'm going to be going deep into this on the Rise Challenge, a little bit into biology, right? Because I experienced in the last 2 months trying to get out of my old home with my husband, where it was just toxic. It was toxic for both of us. It was not very nice. It wasn't good for me. And so I was offered a temporary accommodation that really put me into quite a deep level of survival mode. You can imagine your whole world's changing, and then all of a sudden there's actually these threats to my biology too. It was really cold. It was really cold. I didn't have access to internet, so I couldn't work. We didn't have drinking water. We didn't have hot water. And so I noticed how my body started to go into this survival state, right? It was like, you know, my mind was wandering everywhere. I felt super anxious. I felt super scatty. And what happens then, right, when the nervous system kicks in and the nervous system is reacting to your environment all of the time, it is saying basically, am I safe or am I not safe? Right? Am I safe or am I not safe? And if it is any way programmed that something's unsafe, then you drop into fight or flight, which takes you into a very dangerous part of your mind. It takes you into your survival mind, where you are in your instincts. And instincts aren't clever. Instincts are where you're creating from what you think you know, the known. And so if you're constantly creating from the known, you're actually just creating the same thing over and over again, and that's why nothing changes. What changes is when you change. When you change something, maybe you decide to do what I'm going to teach you in the Rise Challenge, and that is to stop, to center, to connect to the earth, to slow down your breath, to breathe as if everything is fucking zen right now. You're a monk. And to keep breathing. So you create this beautiful flow of breath. You create this higher frequency. You feel yourself almost going dreamy, right? You start to go out of the survival brain and you start to come into this beautiful alpha brain, which is your creative brain. It's your creation brain. It's what I teach my students in the Quantum Leap Intensive, which is where I teach you my exact method to go from victim consciousness to your ultimate creative power. And I teach you in a method that you can package and take out to your clients, because I know that if you're a coach or a consultant or a mentor, you're just meeting your clients coming up against themselves, right? And yes, we can throw as many strategies as we like to tell them how to shift shit, but until they break the habit of being themselves, as Joe Dispenza says, nothing freaking changes. They don't have the self-mastery. They don't have the tools. I'm fucking grateful for the tools. And it was my method, my tools, that have brought me to here where I am today, where everything in my life is different because I changed something. In your alpha brain, you go from surviving the experience that you're having, where your mind is wandering, to all of these different outcomes that honestly none of them will probably happen, into, okay, how do I get creative? Right? How do I simplify right now? And through that simplification and through really being connected to what is important, because you don't have so many options, you actually get aligned. It's like a purification. So what happens in your challenging situation is you come out the other side in a better place. You come out more aligned to who you came here to be. But most people aren't. You are reacting to your situation. You are allowing your mind to go back and pick up all the details and tell all the fucking stories that justify where you are right now, right? And that's the reason why you're here. And if you're here because of what you think you know, you're going to be there soon, and that's really bad, right? That's really bad shit, but it's not true. Because if you change in the moment, and I've just realized I'm really hot and I can't take off anymore, so I have to open a window. That's really funny. I'm getting redder and redder. I'm getting excited about this stuff. It just turns me on so much to talk about this, right? This is how I've changed my entire reality. How I sat there for the last 2 nights underneath the stars, and I felt so fucking grateful to be here now. As it is. To not crave more from that fucking dirty instinct, that lustful, needy place. But to actually love on everything that is and allow that energy of creation to rise and to ascend and to connect and to flow back. You know, when we breathe up this beautiful energy of creation up here, we're connecting with these higher energy centers where we are becoming in flow with the strongest force of the universe, and it flows back. But guess what? It doesn't flow back in the way that you might know. because you open, because you relax, because you trust, because you surrender, it comes back in these absolutely expanded forms of love and abundance. You're finding yourself in experiences and with people and having opportunities and talking about stuff that you never even realized that you wanted in your life, were possible in your life, because creation happens in the unknown and the stuff that you don't know that you don't know. So you've got to break these attachments. Like, I know I've called it codependency, and maybe we can't be codependent on a house because the house isn't getting anything back. But just feel into that. Just frame of reference from a relationship where you're there for the wrong reasons. You're there because it gives you something, because it makes you feel something. And I'm going to get emotional here, because you can spend a really long time there and be absolutely miserable and not know how to break out of your self-created prison, because those walls are the walls that you've built up because you don't trust yourself, because you are separate from this beautiful flow of the universe. And because of that beautiful flow of the universe doesn't flow to you, it flows around you. All the stuff flows to you that seemed like more challenges, and you don't gracefully allow them to flow through you so that you evolve, so that you come out of whatever you are going through, however hard it is, with a higher consciousness, with a more open heart. Feel into the codependent structures that you have in your life, the stuff that you are attaching to keep you safe. I had a conversation with a client the other day. He said, but I'm just so scared that I'm not going to survive through this. And I asked him, how many people do you actually know in the situation that you're in that are actually dead right now? Let's be honest, right? Are they dead? Or has the situation changed? He said, okay, the situation has changed. Great. Okay, so if a situation is changing, if you fight that situation changing and you go from the known, you're only going to create within the reference of what you know, which will be from all your fears, which will probably mean that you will end up going backwards or somewhere not aligned with forwards, not aligned with your soul's frequency, your soul's blueprint, your soul's path. And then you blame the whole world for it, right? But in a higher consciousness, in a beautiful open state, you say, do you know what? I'm probably going through this right now because I'm being asked to learn something. I'm being asked to see something. I am being asked to evolve. There are parts of myself that perhaps are not healthy, habits, belief systems. There are parts of myself that aren't shining because I believe certain things about them. So instead of shrinking, you give out, you give unconditionally, you give unbound to those attachments, to the structures that you believe keeps you safe. You keep you safe. You have this infinite source of creative power that is in absolute co-creation with the universe. The universe is literally praying for your abundance, because that is how the energy of life flows, is through love. Love that leads to creation. You're just part of that cycle until you're not. And that's really what we're doing in the Rise Challenge, because on day 1 to 3 of the Rise Challenge, we're in day 2 now. You can still jump in. It's absolutely free. I am talking strategically. Okay, how do you simplify your marketing? How do you take the financial stress away? Because I'm saying to you, what does that leave? It leaves space. And if you have space, you have the room to grow into all of who you're meant to be. But this is why on the second part of the challenge, in the second challenge bundle, day 4 to 6, we're going to really talk about how you feel in that space. Do you feel comfortable in that space, or do you feel like your air's been cut off? Are you able to sit with the emotions that come up in that space, or do you numb them in whatever way? Your sexual behavior, the things that you eat or drink, the drugs that you take, the way that you busy yourself. Because the space is where creation is. Creation always comes from the pause, from the space, from the allowing, from the surrendering, not jumping to what you know and trying to fix or force or change, and just allowing that dreamy, beautiful, flowing, sleepy energy of the alpha brainwave, beta consciousness, boom, 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 go, 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 think, 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 do, 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 drop down, not into the theta, which, you know, the powers that be, they'll promote that shit, right? Yes, we'll tell people about their theta brainwave where we can actually program more shit into there, right? That doesn't work, because you're not programming the unconscious body, you're programming the subconscious mind. It's only part of the puzzle. We'll skip this fucking super powerful alpha brainwave in between, where creation happens, where you see solutions you didn't see before, where you actively receive divine downloads and channel messages, hear things, see things, just fucking know. You know stuff that you say, I shouldn't really know this, but I know because my heart only knows. My heart is firm, my heart is a feeling, and it's my fucking mind that wonders. So, Jared, how do you join the challenge? Good question. I'm going to put the link to the challenge in the comments below, because there's quite a few people on here live, which is just, I love. And like I said, so ultimately we're shaking up the bonuses with my book, Awaken Your Miracle Frequency. Your miracle frequency is just your soul's truth. We have to allow the soul's truth. We have to be in harmonic resonance with that frequency instead of fight it in the way that we do, which is with this little thing up here, and it's all of its voices and all of its stuff that it knows that gets you taking misaligned actions and doing stupid things and repeating same old patterns, instead of stepping out off the cliff and allowing yourself to fall into the great unknown, into the great mystery. The biggest thing in that mystery is who you have the possibility to be when you stop attaching to those codependent structures, right? When you start believing in ultimate possibility of yourself, when you start allowing the parts of yourself that feel like shadow to come out into the light and realize it's just an integrated, they're just the wholeness of you, right? This is part of why I did this yesterday. I am not my hair. I am not my clothes. I'm not any of that shit. I am. I fucking am. And you know, wherever that essence, that energy takes me, bring me more of that stuff, because it is the highest, hardest, most epic adrenaline hit I've ever experienced. To let go of the lists, to let go of the plans, to let go of the conditions, and to just allow absolute abundance in the moment. But it requires being here now. So my book talks about like a lot of the journey that brought me to where I was a year ago, actually, when I published the book. And there's a whole new book to be written now. There is, and I will. A whole new path that I have stepped on that is just so beautifully creative and allows all of me. And I believe that that is true for you as well. There's just a whole version of you that isn't expressed right now. And if it was, things would be easy. Things would be easy. In the book, Awaken Your Miracle Frequency, it's easier than you think to have it all. I believe that, because it's been my reality for a really long time now. But it's taken a wild journey to be able to receive that abundance, to be able to ride that creative wave of chaos, to be able to be okay in the unknown. But you know, it's funny because people are out there paying for these experiences, right? They'll go and they'll put themselves in an ice bath. They'll do the Wim Hof breath that makes you feel all funky. They'll put themselves into darkness retreats. They'll, you know, bury themselves under the ground. They'll pay for that shit. But life's gifting you that shit every single day. It's just the difference is that when we do something like Wim Hof, when we put ourselves into an ice bath and we switch on the survival response of the body, we know how to master the uncertainty of what we're feeling, which is telling all of those little senses in the body we're not okay, we're going to freeze to death, we're going to die, which happens to shift the breath, right? The breath rate goes up. I wear this amazing ring and it tracks my breath, tracks everything, tracks all of my bioparameters. And it's been such a huge part of my journey of mastering this biology, because I come from 14 years of chronic anxiety. Like I lost 14 years of my life to feeling anxious, and it was really bad. But when I started wearing this in 2017, I could see it was a band back then. It's a cute little ring now. And, you know, it lets you know when you're hyper breathing, when you're breathing too much. So I check in, right? I'm checking in multiple times through the day on all of my bioparameters, but my breath especially. If I'm breathing too much, I'm reacting to my environment in stress. And it's cool because it actually tells you your stress levels too. So you don't have to do so much of the working out anymore. But I'm still very focused on how I'm breathing, because it tells me how I'm responding to reacting to my environment. And what we do when we get into an ice bath is we make the decision to respond. We make the decision to say, yeah, okay, I'm surrounded by ice and it's cold. My ghoulies well, I haven't got ghoulies, but I can imagine it's horrendous. Right? It's like cold as in there. And the breath rate starts coming up. So you start to breathe down. You start to bring yourself into meditation. And you're able to sit there for multiple minutes, right, in this ice bath. So we pay for these experiences. Sauna is the same thing. It's doing the opposite. It's making you hotter. It's all telling the body, it's all triggering the body's stress responses, but life is triggering your body's stress responses every single day. You're just so fucking unconscious that you don't notice. And so you allow yourself to react, and as soon as that beta mind, that limbic emotional, amygdala, this side that's not good, the survival brain switches on, you go into automated patterns of behavior. And like I said, if you go into unconscious, automated patterns of behavior, you're just simply going to create the same thing over and over again from these low frequency emotions of fear, worry, guilt, shame, which is just going to manifest more of the same, right? So my book really digs into this. We're shaking up the book bonuses by creating a new bundle of challenges called the Rise Challenge, which goes into the strategic, but also goes into the somatic alchemy as well. Pretty much the stuff that I've talked about today, which is the direction I'm moving in now, which will be a nice launch pad for the next book. So going forward, you'll have to pay for these challenges, either as products, standalone products, or you have to get my book and get them as a bonus. So it's going to cost you at least $7.99, which, you know, let's save a buck and get in now for free. And we're only on day 2. Day 2 hasn't gone live. You've still got another hour until day 2 goes live. So jump in, it's free. And the most amazing thing about the challenge is that on day 7, I'm actually doing a live activation event. So the challenge videos are recorded, you are accessing them at a page, but yeah, you're going to have the most wild experience on day 7 where you're in a room with me and we get to go deep, because you need to keep doing this stuff. Like, I am so blessed. I'm surrounded by mentors all of the time, and I'm in a room where I'm constantly reminded that I am greater than my biology. I am more than my mind tells me that I am. I am supported by constant tools to improve my self-mastery. Yes, they've evolved a lot, and it's got very shamanic into the journeys and teacher plants and plant medicine and meditation and all of that woo-woo stuff. But I'm supported, right? And the thing is that when you're not supported, you will go backwards. You will go back to your victim consciousness. You will look at your situation and you will be like, okay, it's happening to me. I need to find all the reasons to justify why I'm here. So you'll look back, you'll fear going forward, and you will just get into a survival state where nothing changes for the better. So surround yourself with the resources to fucking constantly evolve, to accept life as it comes to you with grace and love. to believe that it's all happening on purpose, it's all perfect, and look inwards to where it's asking you to change. Instead of trying to fix all this shit out here, right? That's hard. And it's hard. It's exhausting. And it doesn't ultimately change, or it changes in a way that is still framed by your belief systems, you know, which if you haven't shifted a belief system, and this is how I ended up very successful financially but completely unfulfilled, was because I believed that money was made in a certain way, and I believed that that money would create a certain safety and security. But what ultimately I did was take me away from myself. But the soul's always orchestrating this plan, right? So along the way, there were these little experiences and divine whispers, which again, I said, if I go to the mind and allow it to wander to all the reasons why that doesn't really fit in there, and I listened into my heart, and I just do this more and more now. It's like I'm asking the heart, do I go that way? Even though it's completely illogical. It doesn't make sense. And the heart says yes, and I follow the heart, right? Without question. And because of that, the soul orchestrated this beautiful evolution that has led me to here now. And that really has been my affirmation for many months now of, Claire, just be here now. Like, whatever you feel, however hard it feels, like however uncomfortable it feels, like it's all a gift, and it's all happening on purpose, and it's all happening for you. So be here now. Take away the conditions, take away the limited belief systems, appreciate, soak in, love. And from that, this frequency flows that is so high. Unconditional love is the highest frequency. And because of that, the miracles that I've seen in the last 2 months, like again, like I can't believe how held person can possibly be when things can be so, you know, in the frame of the past, like really tough and hard. So believe that everything is possible. I don't make this shit up. It's always coming from my experience. Everything is possible because you're possible, because you have every single possible possibility available to you, as long as you say yes, as long as you receive, as long as you allow. And you know, there's a deep pain that comes with that allowing sometimes, and that surrendering, but you got to feel that too. Be here now. So I'm mixing up those book bonuses. The challenge will not be free. Afterwards, the challenge is my gift because of just how gifted I've been in the last few months. I want to gift back. I don't want to go forward as a coach in the way that I've coached before. I do want to I guess fall more deeply into this mythical expression of myself that works with frequency and energy and music and just wants to experience life in its most expanded way. You know, to just experience everything. I don't want to be one of those 5 fuckers on the deathbed saying, oh, I regret that I didn't do that. I want to live into the expression of all of me, through the expression of all of me, and just keep saying yes. And so I wanted to give back. I wanted to help 1,000 spiritual entrepreneurs like me to manifest the abundance that they're seeking in the next 3 months before the end of the year, right? So if that sounds like you and you would like to accept my gift, then jump into the link in the comments. Sign up to the Rise Challenge. It's a bundle of 2 challenges. We're just going through the strategic stuff now. We lean into the somatic alchemy on day 4, and we finish with this insane live activation event, October 2nd, New Zealand, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. You're going to be in a Zoom room with me, and no, I have no idea what's happening in there, because it will come through in the moment, because we are in co-creation. And I'm going to ask you to share with me where you're at, and I can lean into my very deep box of tools and ways and experiences to help you to move forward. So link in the comments. Thank you for receiving my snotty nose, and yeah, enjoy your day.